And we are recording. Okay. Hey, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope you're having a great day and you've had a great day. This training is to go over the 24-hour fast that we'll complete this Thursday. It's also to talk about how many calories you should be eating if you have questions about that. And I want to talk a little bit about how you should be feeling heading into week 3. So I think I'll start with that one first. First of all, congratulations for making it this far. You've done a great job. You guys are posting really high scores. I can tell you're invested in this, and it's going to show in your results and hopefully in how you feel, which is truly my goal. And I think the most important thing is how you feel. I would hope for you by now that you've stopped needing a nap during the day and that you don't feel sluggish. Maybe your brain fog has lifted. You feel confident in your food choices and you feel energized. Those are some things that I would hope you'd be feeling at this point. If at this point in the program you're not feeling any of those things, you're still struggling, maybe you're hungry, you're tired, then you need to contact me and let me know so that I can help you troubleshoot, because you should definitely be feeling a difference from when you started at this point, especially unless you were eating almost perfectly clean when you started, maybe you wouldn't notice as big of a difference, but most of you should be noticing a difference by now. So in this final week, we are really going to take what we've learned, we're going to get better at it, and we're going to take note of what is working for us and what are some things that maybe we need to change a little bit. For example, maybe you're finding that fasting every single day is just not working for you. Maybe there's one workout day a week where you feel like you need to break your fast earlier, or you want those extra calories in the morning, maybe for leg day, or maybe you just don't want to have to think about fasting one day a week. Maybe you're noticing that on your low carb days, you really feel a lot better than your high carb days. So maybe you want to do a few more low carb days than high carb days. Maybe you're finding that on your high carb days, you are really hungry. So you don't want to fast on those days so you can get more calories in. You get to decide. This is your body, and honestly, I created this program as a baseline for you to build off of and to build your perfect program. So I want to give you an example. I use honey in my coffee nearly every single day. It has a lot of carbs. I think there's 16 grams of carbs in a tablespoon. I don't use a tablespoon. I probably use a teaspoon, but I also use honey in my apple cider vinegar tea or my apple cider vinegar drink. So I'm using honey a few times a day on most days. Now, for the most part, I'm just okay with that. That's just one of the things I've just allowed myself to have. That's the study of one. I have not noticed negative effects from doing that. Now, I will say that over time, I've reduced the amount of honey, and even now, within the last week or so, I've found that I don't really need it every day. So, you'll make progression over time, and that's great. And that's what, that's life. And we should embrace those kind of slow progressive changes. Another example would be like, salad dressing. If you find, and I mentioned this on somebody's post one time, if you find that ranch dressing is your favorite dressing and you just don't like those balsamic dressings or those vinaigrettes, just use ranch. Maybe that's your thing that you're going to keep holding on to. So you can kind of make these rules as long as you're not bending every rule. That's okay. It's the study of one. And some of those little nuances, they're not going to affect your results. As long as you don't create an exception for everything, you're going to be fine. And I have to tell you that clients that are able to see the big picture instead of getting caught up in all of those details are more successful, you guys, because it's about being sustainable and about being able to make healthy choices long term the majority of the time. So if you obsess over every single little thing, that's just not sustainable or enjoyable. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Let's talk about the 24-hour fast. So I started incorporating the 24-hour fast into this program in the fall because I was doing it about once a month and I wanted my clients to experience the benefits as well. The 24-hour fast is optional. If you are not up for that, then just don't do it, and that's totally fine. If you have a history with disordered eating, if you are breastfeeding or pregnant, you should not attempt the 24-hour fast. The 24-hour fast is in place because it is an amazing reset for your body. Just allowing it to rest even longer than the 16 hours is so good for your health. There are studies that talk about how fasting for 3 days, which we're not doing here, but for fasting for 3 days can like completely reverse cancers and other health issues. It's very, very powerful, and it's relatively easy. Now, when I do my 24-hour fast, I usually purchase a juice cleanse to go with it. This juice cleanse is special because the juices are not processed with heat. So they're live and they're veggie-centric, so they're mostly vegetables. And the fiber is taken out of the juices, so you're not breaking your fast. I love flooding my body with those good nutrients, and I love the juice cleanse. I posted about it a few days ago. If you still want to order the juices, you need to order by tomorrow night, I believe, at 8 p.m. because they're FedEx to you and they arrive cold and they need to go right in the refrigerator and they need to be consumed within like 3 days, I believe, of receiving them. So that if you want to use the juices, there's that. Message me for the link. If you aren't using the juices, that's totally fine. I just have found that it's easier to do it with the juices because you have more to consume in a way, and it kind of keeps it interesting because every juice is different. You will start your fast after dinner on Wednesday evening. So if you eat your last meal around 6:30, then you won't break your fast until 6:30 p.m. on Thursday night. You will not consume any supplements during your fast. So no omega-3s, no vitamins, none of that. You can still drink apple cider vinegar in warm water with lemon juice and some cinnamon if you want, but no honey, no coffee. That's the hardest one. So actually, the first time I did it, I had a headache in the afternoon. Every time I have done it since, I've gotten better and it's gotten easier. So I'll start my day with an herbal tea, or you could do a glass of warm water with lemon. All the water and all the herbal teas you want all day, but we're really trying to avoid caffeine and just detox and get those things out of our system. If you have a headache and it just won't go away, have some coffee if you need to. Just don't put anything in it. But think about, you're just really trying to cleanse your body. You will probably have to pee a lot on the 24-hour fast day. I sure do, and I'm always very cold. I always dress in layers on 24-hour fast day, and I try, if I can, to head to the sauna and sit in it for a few minutes because that is a really great way to pull the toxins out of your body, and it just warms me up and it feels really great. So just know that, there might be some times during the day that you're a little bit uncomfortable, being cold, having to pee extra, feeling a little bit hungry at times, but other than that, it's really not much harder than what you've been doing. And another reason I like to do the 24-hour fast once a month is because I love the reminder that I am in control of what I put in my body and not my stomach or my brain. I'm doing this. I'm in total control and I have a lot of willpower. It's really powerful to be able to say that you've done something hard like that and you feel really great about yourself when you're done. Now, I'll tell you, the evening of your fast, so when you break your fast, and if you don't make it the full 24 hours, that's fine. A lot of times I'll break it at 22 hours, just depending on our plans. If you can only make it till 20 hours, just be proud of whatever you can do. With the ultimate goal to try to do a 24-hour fast once a month, once every 6 weeks, and see if you can make it eventually. But if you don't this time, that's okay. So when you break your fast, you're going to break it with a small meal, maybe a shake, a protein shake, a small salad, soup, something kind of small. And then you're going to feel, I always feel this way anyway, so energized. Like when I go to bed after I've fasted for 24 hours, I'm like wide awake. It's crazy. It's so cool, the amount of energy that I have. And then the next day, I always feel amazing. It's just so cool to go through that and notice how your body responds. So that is the 24-hour fast. I'll be coaching you through it. It's a mind over matter thing, and if you prepare for it and if you know it's coming, then you'll be successful. Okay, let's talk about, are there any questions about that? The 24-hour fast? I can unmute you on the phone. Okay, well, I'll assume that there are no questions. You guys are welcome to ask them in the group page too after I post this video. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about tonight is calories. So, you know, we're getting to the point in the program where you are on a roll, you know what's going on, what you need to be eating, you've got this. And many of you are starting to wonder about your macros and calories, and am I eating too much? Am I not eating enough? So this is a little bit of training on calories. You know, playing with your calories is just that. You can change your caloric intake. You could change it every 4 weeks. You can switch your macros around. Like, this is a lifelong kind of study. There is no one set answer for your percentages. There's no one set answer for your calorie intake. We are all so different. So just know that this is a super flexible topic, and you just have to know your body. And that's what I really hope this program sort of sets the foundation for, is that you can play with those things without being too scared, because you are paying so much attention to how your body responds, that you can make slight adjustments and feel confident that you're not going to go too far in the wrong direction, because you can just pay attention and get yourself back on track the way you need to. So first, to figure out your caloric intake, where it should be, I like to recommend that people find out their BMR, and that stands for your basal metabolic rate. And that basically means the rate at which you burn calories if you were to just lie in bed all day. So that is how many calories your body needs just to lie in bed all day. No exercise, no moving around, no chasing your kids, no cooking, no chewing, no eating, no digesting, all of the things that take up and use calories, just laying in bed. So I will post a link to a BMR calculator. It's a super simple thing. It's like you enter your height and your weight and something else, your age or something. And it gives you a rough estimate. So super rough estimate. Another way to get your BMR is by doing like a body scan scale. They have one at 5 Star Nutrition if you're local. And it gives you a rough estimate of your BMR. So for example, mine is around 1,200. So 1,200 calories should be like my minimum number of calories. That's how many calories my body needs just to lay in bed all day. Now, clearly, I don't do that every day. I'm exercising, I'm moving, I'm talking and eating and digesting. So then I need more than that. Now, quick little pause in my story. I want to go back to a few years ago. I was doing the 21-Day Fix, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. It's a very popular Beachbody program. It's a calorie deficit program. And the very lowest bracket, so you fill out a calculation, and you get put in a bracket. I was in the very lowest bracket because I'm pretty little, and that bracket is a 1,200 calorie bracket. So I was in that bracket, and actually I knew at the time I was just miserable. I was hungry, I was grumpy, and I just felt like this is just wrong. Like I don't feel like I should be in this bracket, even though I did the calculator over and over and over, and I kept getting the same bracket. And so 1,200 calories is what I was consuming. But plus I was doing the daily workouts, which burn about 300 calories. And then plus just living life. So I was probably only consuming about, or only getting in like 800 calories once I did, once I subtracted those from those other activities. And that's just not enough. So yes, initially I lost weight, but I also lost a ton of muscle mass and I was not happy. I mean, it was just, that's not an enjoyable amount of calories to consume. It's not fulfilling. It's not satisfying. I was probably 12 pounds lighter than I am now. So I definitely lost weight, as you always will on a calorie deficit program. But what happens is your metabolism will slow down and it will start to conserve energy, because it's like, oh, no, we are not going to get fed anytime soon. So we're going to hold on to as much fat as we can for energy, because we're not going to make it unless we keep a hold of those fat stores. So your body then requires you to eat fewer and fewer calories in order to lose fat. So it's a bad cycle. I think it's okay to go into a calorie deficit every once in a while to shock your system here and there, which is actually a really good reason to do the 24-hour fast once a month. And actually intermittent fasting does that in a way as well, because you're cutting out an entire meal. But anyway, back to your BMR. So my BMR is 1,200. Now, to figure out how many calories you should eat, take that number, divide by 2, and add that back to the number. So mine is 1,200 divided by 2 is 600. 1,200 plus 600 is 1,800. So my range of calories, I like to be somewhere between 1,600 and 1,800. So usually my low carb days are closer to the 1,600, sometimes 1,500. My high carb days are closer to the 1,800, sometimes 1,900 or 2,000. So I'm in a range. But when you get your BMR, you should know that you should be taking in at least 200 more calories than that, because you're burning at least that many calories when you are living, working out, whatever it is. So if you don't know any of those numbers, just track what you're eating for about 3 days on MyFitnessPal. It will tell you how many calories. You don't have to be totally precise. You do not need to track every single thing, but just get a rough idea, like, okay, I'm eating around 1,400 or I'm eating around 1,600. Most of you are going to discover that you're pretty low. And that's okay. That's good to know. But you want to kind of be up in that healthier range that I talk about, that I just spoke about, where it's like half of your BMR added to your BMR. Like, that's a good top number to go for. I had lost my train of thought about your calories and being too low. I lost it. Oh, I know. In MyFitnessPal, I never track my exercise. It's very inaccurate. I just find that it confuses people about how many calories you're really taking in, and then you're subtracting, and then you're just track your food. Your exercise is going to be around 200 to 500 usually. You can just bank on that. I would just round it to 300, honestly, if you care, if you're interested in that. And quite frankly, why do we care? We are not working out to burn as many calories as we can. We're working out to build our muscles, and we're working out to increase our endurance. So I don't even think you need to worry about tracking how many calories you burn. I don't really care. I never do that. I never track how many calories I burn. I find it to be a distraction from what the real purpose is, which is to gain strength and to feel great and to build those endorphins and all of that. So that's just my opinion. If you do that, that's fine, but I wouldn't confuse it with tracking food in MyFitnessPal. Okay, so we talked about calories. If you need some help with that, you can reach out to me. Don't freak out if you're super, super low. Like if you track and you know how many you're getting, and then you do your BMR and you're lower than your BMR, don't freak out. It's okay. We can get you up. And that's called reverse dieting. And it's a really popular thing in the fitness world, because a lot of people that do like figure competitions and that kind of thing, they are eating at a severe deficit and they have to get their metabolisms back up to normal. So they gradually add calories. And so if you're a person that's been dieting your whole life for a very long time and you've always been at a calorie deficit, we'll need to do the same for you. So that would be, you would add like 50 to 100 calories for a few days, and then you'd add a few more, and you will not gain weight this way. You might notice a little bloat at first, but your body will adjust if you do it in a safe, slow way. And that's a good way to increase. So, I mean, I'm a really good example of this. I eat, like I said, between 1,600 and 1,800 calories a day now, and I was eating like that 800 range when I was doing the 21-day fix. Yes, I did gain weight, but I didn't gain fat. My body is actually more fit and toned and muscular than it was when I was doing the 21-day fix, where I was just skinny. So I'm a good example. I didn't just gain a bunch of fat, and you won't either, because you're doing this in a smart way. Okay, guys, I hope that is helpful. Does anybody have questions? I'll unmute you real quick. In case anybody does. Any questions? All right, everybody. Well, I hope this was helpful, and let's head into week 3 strong and focused and determined to have a good final week. I will post this in the group, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.